Welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals post-game show presented by our friends at Bet365. The Arizona Cardinals put an absolute whooping on Sean McVay's LA Rams by the final score 41-10. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's the playmaker. Brittan, Golden, Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire. Behind the mic, we're going to be joined by both Craig Morgan and Brack at State Farm Stadium for the sight, sound, and intrigue following the first Cardinal NFC West victory in over 2 years. Before we get to that, of course, download the Bet365 app today. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer. Find out why it's never ordinary with our friends at Bet365. Happy post-game dub to everybody in this chat. Brittan, let's go.
Man, it looked good. Hey, starting the second half off exactly how we talked about in the halftime show. Coming out with that first drive, driving straight down the field and getting points. I think right there, if you really want to find a moment where the dagger hit, I think that was the dagger. I mean, because you went into halftime with a 21-point lead, and you come straight out of halftime, you drive the field, you get 7 points. The Rams team just had there was nothing left. There was no fight left in them after that moment.
You took the soul of the LA Rams today, and if you're Jonathan Gannon and Kyler Murray, that's what you needed to have happen. You needed to have this team go into our building, State Farm Stadium, in front of your capacity crowd and put forth the kind of effort that we saw here today by JG and K1. Enough of this, Brittan Golden. We're going to get pushed around by Sean McVay. We can't beat Daddy McVay for the first time since 2014. We're in a position right now for the Arizona Cardinals where they're a viable contender in the NFC West.
Yeah, and all the excuses that you'll probably hear all week long. The Rams were beat up. They didn't have starters. It's like, to that point, we discussed it in the halftime show. Like, this is the NFL. It doesn't matter. Everybody's beat up, right? Everybody's going to be beat up at some point. Can you take advantage of those games where you have the upper hand and create havoc? And our defense stepped up today. They created havoc. They made a lot of plays. They gave, and like you said, it gives, when an offense comes out and goes crazy like that, it gives life to a defense. So everybody just played off of each other today and just beat the Rams.
Yeah, beat that like button up. Drop a like. Goals for 500 on a post-game show. We're going to hear from JG. We're going to hear from K1 and more. But again, I don't think you can devalue the meaning that this has for Jonathan Gannon. You could not start, in my opinion, 0-7 in the NFC West. I love JG. He's been on this show. I believe in JG. But there's a mental block, not only starting 0-4 in the division, but 0-4 in a division that has had Pete Carroll once upon a time and now Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. You have to prove that you can play with the big boys. And boy, did he show that today. Like, Cardinals, yes, they had a healthier squad, but I think anybody, if you would have asked them before the season, people assume this Rams team, this is a contender in the NFC. This is a team that, could have made it to the divisional round last year. I think there was a lot of those naysayers downplaying Aaron Donald's departure. Those people look like morons right now, frankly. This is not the same defense without Aaron Donald. And Matthew Stafford's a great player, but Matthew Stafford is not Josh Allen. Matthew Stafford is not a mobile QB that can run all over. So you had to challenge your defense to go up and get stops. You had to have Dennis Gardeck have a career day. You had to have Zaven Collins and guys like Justin Jones and Mac Wilson and Budda Baker flying around. But this starts and ends, in my opinion, and I'm not going to diminish the defense. We're going to talk about that. This starts and ends with the play of Kyler Murray and subsequently Marvin Harrison Jr. You had to come out and step on the throats, not only of the LA Rams, but the people nationally. This week has almost been an extension of the offseason. I think last week, a lot of us thought we'd sit on this postgame show and say, you know what? They're going to rip the Band-Aid off. They're going to go nuts. And yeah, they did in the first half, but a lot of the same narratives, Brittan, that we heard about K1 and we heard about Marvin, we heard about this week. And it was like, oh man, is this an extension of what I heard from 6 months ago? But now it's like, this is the first coming out party for Marvin Harrison Jr. This is the reminder for everybody who forgot K1's a top 10 quarterback, maybe a top 5 when he plays like this, that the Cardinals are very viable. This is not a joke franchise. This is not a joke team.
I agree. And I think you kind of get the blueprint. I mean, even if you're Petsing at this moment, like you can kind of see, like, we got Marvin Harrison going early. We got that connection going early. We got completions. We got touchdowns, which just, like we talked about, led to everything else.
Yeah.
Right? Marvin Harrison had 100-plus yards in the first half with 2 touchdowns. Right? It
was a
opens the gate.
man among boys.
Yeah.
Performance.
I mean, it literally. And then it opens up. James Conner goes off. James Conner has 120-plus rushing yards today.
Yep.
Trey McBride had a couple huge catches today.
Yep.
Michael Wilson had a couple huge catches today. Greg Dortch caught the ball 3 or 4 times today. It just starts to open up lanes and windows for other people, on this roster, other guys on the roster to have great days. And you have to get your bell cows going early. Once you get that going, everything opens.
We're going to get to our player of the game here in a second, but reminder, everybody, drop a like. We got almost 700 watching on YouTube. Let's get up to 1,000. Let's get to 500 likes, because I'm going to declare it right now. The Arizona Cardinals did exactly what they needed to with this gauntlet to the start this year. There's a lot of, you look at the Seahawks right now, their joke of a schedule, starting with New England, starting with the Broncos with Bo Nix, right? That's a joke. The Arizona Cardinals have that opportunity in the second half of the season. What they couldn't have happened, Brittan, was start 1-6, 2-7, have it mean nothing, right? And last week you had that game and you let Buffalo take it from you. So today you didn't screw around. At no point did it felt like this game was in jeopardy for the Arizona Cardinals. So now you put yourself in a position at 1-1. Yes, a very dominant Detroit Lions team comes into your building next week. We're going to talk about that. Then you get Washington at home. And then you play the suddenly very vulnerable, I believe, San Francisco 49ers without Christian McCaffrey. And then potentially a Jordan Love-less Packer team and a Tua-less Miami Dolphins team and a Charger team that's going through their ups and downs. The Cardinals put the NFC, not just the NFC West, but the NFC on nose today. We're a possession or two away from beating the Buffalo Bills, and we took the LA Rams, and I'll say it right now, the Arizona Cardinals ended the LA Rams season today. The Arizona Cardinals, the Rams at 0-2, going into San Francisco next week. Like, does anybody think the LA Rams are going to beat the Niners next week after the Niners just got embarrassed today? The LA Rams season is over. They lose Cooper Kupp to injury. They lost Puka Nacua. They're missing offensive linemen. The Cardinals have put their foot on the throat of the LA Rams. Now they're irrelevant. Goodbye. We won't see you again until week 17. This could be an implosion. Who knows if Stafford even makes it that long. So now you have to assert yourself. You have to assert yourself against the Seattle Seahawks, which I think are big-time frauds, going to overtime with the Patriots. And then we'll see how they fare against San Francisco defensively. But to me, this is a very good day for people like myself, like the rest of the show, that believe the Cardinals can contend in the NFC and get to the playoffs in the NFC. What we watched today, that's a playoff team in the NFC.
Oh, and that's what you wanted to see. You wanted to see the Cardinals come out, especially after that loss last week. Like you said, you had a 14-point lead. You should have beat the Bills.
Yep.
I mean, you should have easily beat the Bills last week. You put the better offense on the field in the first half, and then it disappeared in the second half.
Yeah.
But they came out. They were ready to play ball again, starting the first 3 drives of the game with points scored, all touchdowns this week.
Yep.
And you did the same thing in the second half. You come out, you start scoring. They came out, they showed what they can do offensively. And we talked about this before the season started. On paper, the skill position players that the Cardinals have on offense are just
elite.
As good as anybody else in this league.
Yep.
They've got, on paper, they have it. They just have to be able to put it together. And today they put it together and showed how explosive they can be.
They're elite. I mean, when Trey McBride's an afterthought in a game like this, and I thought Trey still had a great day, like, it shows you how loaded the Cardinals are. And today, Kyler Murray had a big day, but we're going to give the coup de grace, the player of the game, the X factor, to the rookie in his second game. People on the Twitter streets had the gall to call this man Molasses Marv. Marvin Harrison Jr., 4 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half, almost in the first quarter. And then the Cardinals, they ran the ball effectively. They got other people involved. What Marvin Harrison Jr. did to the LA Rams, he basically signaled to the LA Rams, your time is up. I have arrived. The Cardinals are viable now. I'm here with K1. I'm not going anywhere. It wasn't just the box score. You would have had to see, like we all did, what Marvin Harrison Jr. did. He undressed the LA Rams today. Tre'Davious Wright, I said it at the halftime show, he put him in damn near retirement, right? The LA Rams had no answer for him. And again, that's what we've been begging for with Kyler Murray. I mean, since DeAndre Hopkins was here, Kyler Murray has been gifted undersized 5'9" receivers who are injury prone. And so finally, a GM with some sense, Monty Ford, says, you know what? I'm not going to screw around. I'm not going to trade down for more picks. I'm going to take what we all assume is going to be a big-time, potentially Hall of Fame caliber player. And what does he do? Week 1, it's got some nerves, playing a really good team defensively against Buffalo. Doesn't have an impact. This week, they really, looks like, even with that first throw that was incomplete, tailored the game plan around getting him the football. And look, you blew out one of your prime, now rivals in the NFC West, by making Marvin Harrison Jr. the focal point. It's about damn time.
Yeah, and even like you said, we noticed the first throw. Yep, it was incomplete. But just talking about it before the game and saying that you got to get him involved early, like I said, that was the game plan.
Yep.
You knew you were coming out first play of the game. Everybody has that top 15 play script to start the game that they take the plays off from, and knowing that we're starting the game, Marv's running this comeback, we're going to find a way to get the ball. If it's completed, cool. If it's not, cool. But we're going to get him involved early, and it paid off. Now you got it out there. Yeah, it was an incomplete first one, but then you backdoor it with a catch, big touchdown catch, and then you go the very next drive, a 60-yard touchdown catch. It's exactly what you need to see out of Marv, exactly what you want to see out of Kyler, and you need to keep it going.
Keep those likes going. Keep those super chats going. We will get to everything. This is the most loaded premier Arizona Cardinal post-game show you're going to find with PHNX Cardinals. Let's get to the drive of the game. It's the Sanderson Ford drive of the game. How about that 99-yarder for the Arizona Cardinals going start to finish for K1 and company? And again, it was a mixture of Marvin Harrison Jr. making highlights. It was a mixture of James Conner making plays up and down the field. And then how about K1? I like any other game, Kyler Murray is going to be the player of the game here on Sanderson Ford drive of the game. But I do think, we got to give Marv his flowers, how he responded this week. But this game, it felt like vintage K1. And on this drive in particular, the scrambling around and the completion of Marvin Harrison Jr. down the sideline, and then when they flipped quarters, and then the pass to Elijah Higgins, in the back of the end zone. What was that, on third down? That looked like, I tweeted this out, that looked like Oklahoma Sooner Kyler Murray.
Oh, it was crazy. I mean, they showed the replay and all the statistic-wise. He had the ball for 8 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, he got out of 4 would-be tacklers, somehow got his feet set, shoulders squared, and delivered a strike. When you watch the replay, Kyler knew as soon as that ball left his hand, it was almost like the Steph Curry three-point shot where he just turns around.
That's right.
He just let it go and knew there was nobody that was going to stop it. It was right in the perfect spot. It was a great throw. And, just great pocket presence by Kyler Murray to break a few tackles, get out of trouble and deliver a strike. It was beautiful.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, what he put on display today was, again, what we had been hearing about throughout training camp. I mean, we've got whispers of people who are involved with this franchise, who are around this franchise. Bo Brock's there every day. Craig Morgan's there every day. And it's like Kyler Murray is having a all-time training camp. Kyler Murray is having an all-time offseason. And people want to discredit that, and people don't take K1 seriously, and people don't want to take Jonathan Gannon seriously. I'll tell you what, right now, a lot of dumb people on the internet look extra dumb today. A lot of people with takes who don't have a high football acumen who ripped on Kyler Murray the entire offseason. Cardinals, he's too short. He didn't look good against Buffalo, even though he did. He's not the leader for this franchise. JG and Austin Ford doubled down on K1, and he rewarded them today. Because, again, everybody loves Matthew Stafford, even though he lost last week. There was no question who the better quarterback was today. Extending plays out of the pocket, playing inside the pocket, running with the football. I mean, Kyler Murray, elusive as a runner. You talk about his numbers, we're going to get into him later. I mean, he's on pace right now for the career best quarterbacking in the history of the Arizona Cardinals. I know it's only through 2 games, but man, look at a lot of that meat on the bone with some of the defenses the Arizona Cardinals are going to play this year. The number one attribute, you got to keep him healthy. But again, didn't have to play a lot of the fourth quarter. I thought, outside of a holding call, I thought Kelvin Beachum was pretty good today. I thought the offensive line was terrific. Paris Johnson Jr. was terrific. But, I mean, we talked about it the entirety of the offseason. Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. are the second coming of whomever has Justin Jefferson, Burrow, and Jamar Chase. This is a combination that the league is going to have to take note of, because I'm watching that first quarter and a half by Marv, and I said this to you guys at the studio. It's like an out-of-body experience. This is like Randy Moss. It's the closest thing to Fitz 3 touchdowns in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles. You just know special when you see it.
Oh yeah, and we saw it in college. It was just, can he bring that to the NFL? And today, week one was rough, but today he came out and he showed, he was like, yes, I can come out here and I can be just as dynamic as anybody else on this field. And he came out and put it on display.
Yeah, everybody's asking. Dennis Gardeck's going to get his flowers on this show. Tremendous job. And again, like, we're going to talk about the defensive matchups and where the Cardinals excel, but the Rams came in hobbled. What the Cardinals could not do defensively is make the Rams offensive line look better than it is. Like, you have to attack a weakness relentlessly. And I also needed to see Jonathan Gannon come out and assert himself against Sean McVay. And that's a sub-bullet that I don't think is going to get talked about a lot because there's a lot of fireworks with K1 and Marv, and rightfully so. Jonathan Gannon announced to Sean McVay, like, this is not the same Cardinal team that you used to beat up on. Last year was a joke. We were rebuilding. I didn't have my quarterback for most of the year. Look at our roster. Now we're going to flip the script. When you come into our building in front of our capacity crowd at State Farm Stadium, you're put on alert. You don't have number 99 protecting you anymore. Your quarterback is old and brittle and could be a year-to-year retirement kind of deal. Like, I just feel like, yeah, you can talk about Jared Verse and Braden Fisk and, oh, yeah, the Rams team, they're retooling. The Cardinals were substantially better top to bottom, their 53-man roster today. And again, their team, that being the LA Rams, are not going to be healthy for at least, 2 months? Your season could be, I'm deeming it over, but, like, realistically, it could be over. Like, you don't start 0-2, 0-3, 0-4 and expect to be a contender in the NFC when you play in this division. You're toast.
Especially when you don't have your top two, targets on offense. I mean, we're looking at Puka's going to be out for multiple weeks.
Yeah.
We don't know the status of Cooper Kupp yet. I mean, but it didn't look great. So, I mean, you're looking at another potential 2 to 3 weeks without your top two receivers and with a banged up offensive line. It's like you said, it's almost, are we worried for Matthew Stafford at this point?
I love my guy Ozzy in the chat. We ended the Rams today. And that's what I want this season to be about. I want this season, week by week, QB, head coach by QB and head coach. It's like that meme of the Grim Reaper going door to door. And I just want it to be K1 with the Grim Reaper nixing everybody in his path, everybody who talks smack about this franchise and specifically Kyler Murray. Like, we had a lot of time on our hands here in the second half because the game was over, because it was a flipping blowout. It was beautiful. Not a lot of people were being quiet on the Twitter streets. A lot of COD jokes not being made, a lot of hype jokes not being made. And that, I think the Cardinals are fine with that. It's like, hey, we're just going to go about our business. And if there's anybody that I trust to keep this team focused, it's the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Because I'm going to tell you right now, everybody wanted to anoint Shane Steichen as the wonderkin after last year. He's a big fat 0-2 today. He's losing to Malik Willis today. Philadelphia, I still think, is very fraudulent. Then there's Jonathan Gannon, who everybody laughed at, who everybody thought it was a joke hire, got his team to overachieve last year by an effort standpoint, almost beat Buffalo and Josh Allen week 1, and just completely undressed and demolished Sean McVay. Like, this feels like, to me, and I don't want to overreact, this feels like when Bruce Arians faced Sean McVay for the first time with, a full deck. He was like, are the Rams viable now? Do I have to take this team seriously? You absolutely do.
Yeah. I mean, it just, we talked about it in the last year, combine era. I mean, you got exactly what you wanted in a front office staff now.
Yeah.
You got the GM you need. You got the coach you need. You got defensive coordinators. Everybody in here in this building they're building a team that's ready to win. And they showed it today. They came out and they showed what they can put on display in just year 2, right? So I'm excited for what this season holds. If we can, you just got to keep this moving. You got to keep the offense rolling early and be able to do the same thing in the second half, right? You got to be able to put the same product on the field that you put in the first half in the second half, and then just this defense fly around. Like Budda Baker, we ain't even talked about him yet. Budda Baker was everywhere today on the field, and having a guy like that mixed with Jalen Thompson back there. The linebackers played great today. The defensive line played great. When this offense and this defense clicks like this, they are a very dangerous team.
Budda Baker gets his flowers today and then some. He must have heard all of the crazy Hassan Reddick trade scenarios. And trust me, we're going to talk about Hassan Reddick later in the show, because I think that is remains in play for the Arizona Cardinals. Hell, I'd make that trade tomorrow if I was Monty Austin for it, because he doesn't look like he's playing for the New York Jets anytime soon. And the Arizona Cardinals offensively are ready to go. That's a playoff offense right now. Defense, I think we all agree, could need some help. And why not continue to fortify that pass rush We're going to talk about that pass rush. We're going to talk about K1 and why it was a historic day for the Arizona Cardinals franchise quarterback. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass. If you have not come out to one of our many watch parties here at PHNX Sports at Gila River, what are you waiting for? Tremendous food, tremendous vibes, 4,500 slots, live table games. Catch all the action at Arizona's largest casino sportsbook, Premier accommodations. They've got the A. Shula Steakhouse. They've got TVs everywhere. Like the toughest part, I love being at the studio. I hate being away from Gila River on game days. We're going to get some dubs at Gila River here pretty soon. But again, if you're just thinking of taking a weekend away with the fam, with the spouse, with the wife, and you're like, I don't want to leave Arizona, why would you? Check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos, one of their many locations, count them 4, and my personal favorite, Wild Horse Pass. Again, we got watch parties every single road game this year for free. Come out, hang out, get some food, get some vibes, and have a good time as we watch, hopefully, a special season with the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, we got Suns tip-off right around the corner. Check it all out. Play at Gila.com. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Play at Gila.com for more details. And from Gila River to Sanderson Ford, we talked about it, Damon, the drive of the game. Sanderson Ford's got to be licking their chops. They're about ready to take some sweet rides onto the interstate.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to Gila River Resorts and Casinos, you hit big. First place I'm going is Sanderson Ford because I'm getting me a new Big Ben Bronco.
Ooh, how about that?
I mean, I love those Broncos. The F-150 is great. Bo test drove that one. I mean, how do you not love Sanderson Ford? They got the biggest Ford facility in the entire nation. That's not just Arizona, the whole nation, 65 acres. They even have a diner at Sanderson Ford on their premises. Great food, cheap prices. I mean, everything about Sanderson Ford is just it's incredible. It's all, they offer you the best price that you could get. They're the friendliest staff possible. We know them personally. We went out there, hung out with them.
They're tremendous.
They're awesome people. They're really good guys. And yeah, I mean, they're going to help you get your dream car and get into the car of your dreams. Shop the Sanderson Ford payoff sale with no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense. And they're going to give you 0% financing on a new 2024 Ford F-150, Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition. Can't beat that anywhere. Football is back. So are the deals at Arizona's largest Ford dealership. Sanderson Ford, see dealer for details.
So much good stuff happening with our friends at Gila and Sanderson Ford. So much good happening here as we count a little cards with Gila River Resorts and Casinos. And we mentioned it, Kyler Murray, Brittan Golden, 3 touchdown passes today, puts him at 4 on the season, 0 big goose egg on interceptions this year. K1 had 266 yards passing, 12.7 yards per completion, a perfect 158.3 passer rating, and you also include 59 yards rushing on the ground, so over 300 total yards of offense today. Surgical, vintage, throwback K1 that I hope becomes the norm moving forward.
Agreed. Everything, every throw was precise. He was accurate, very accurate today. When it wasn't there downfield, he checked it down. He took the smart play. He found his tight end. He found his running back. He found the underneath routes. He was very efficient today, and that's what you need to see out of him. And when he did throw it deep, he was on point. Yeah. He was accurate. There might have been a couple throws. There was a couple that were a little overthrown to Marvin there in the second half. But outside of that, I mean, he had a great day, and it's what you want to see going forward from your franchise quarterback.
A lot of people look dumb today with regard to their comments on K1. I look dumb for everything I've said about Dennis Gardeck. But in all seriousness, Dennis Gardeck went out and did what he needed to do. After a quiet week 1, he went out and whooped the LA Rams offensive tackles. And I use tackle as plural because he beat the left tackle twice, but then he beat Havenstein, the right tackle, toward the end of the game with the strip stack. So Dennis Gardeck, I will never argue, deserves a place on this team, deserves a spot in the pass rush rotation. I just, he's undersized. I don't want him to be my ace, but if you get games like this from Zaven Collins and you get games like this from Dennis Gardeck, you really only need one more guy. So all that to say, kudos to Gardeck, 45. He played with his hair on fire. He's like a relief pitcher, right? He can't pitch a complete game shutout, but he can come in and throw gas for a couple innings. And he's a close personal friend of yours, Brittan. I know you were fired up here in the studio.
Oh, I love it. Anytime you got Gardeck sightings, we love it. We love it. We got a bunch of buddies. Our group chat went crazy. The 3 sacks, a forced fumble, tackle for loss. Man, it's a great day to be a Dennis Gardeck fan. And I promise you, I'm going. I'm gonna call him or talk to him tomorrow. Have somebody get a hold of him tomorrow.
Tell him I'm sorry.
I'm getting a jersey. I'm not even giving him your apology.
Oh no,
I'm getting a jersey. I'm gonna force you to wear that
that's
on
fine.
the live
Listen,
air.
45 is a great number, and Dennis is.
I might get it backwards so Gardeck's on the front,
my
just so
God.
they have to see the name.
That's fair. I deserve it. I deserve all the critiques. I've already put my apology letter. It's 5 paragraphs long. It'll be read on a show to be named later. And then lastly, on counting cards, of course, James Conner. What he does best, grinding teams down, 21 carries, 122 yards on the ground, 5.8 yards per clip. Again, like DeMercado did well. I thought Trey Benson maybe danced a little bit too big. Like James Conner, there's a Grand Canyon size gap in James Conner and the other running backs on this team. Like as much as like I want to sit here on certain shows and say, oh yeah, this is probably the last year for James Conner. Then you watch him and what he means to this team and the acceleration up the middle and the fact that Rams couldn't bring him down. He's bouncing off wimpy tacklers. Like to me, it's like James Conner. As long as James Conner is running like this, like I don't know how you can let him leave if you're Monty Austin-Ford, whether he wants to do a year-to-year thing, but it's a long season, and I know he inevitably misses time, Brittan Golden, but he means so much from a physicality standpoint that, yes, you have now with Trey and Marvin, Michael Wilson, but just the fact that the LA Rams looked mortified to tackle him at the end of the game, that's exactly what you want.
And this goes back to the end of last season, right, where we watched James Conner just run through defenses all season long when he was healthy last season. And what you wanted as a fan base, as anybody watching this, was to see that come back in the beginning of this year, see him come back. And I mean, the man averages 5 yards a carry all the time.
Yeah.
Every time he touches the ball, you're expecting 5 yards, and he's going to get that and more. He's a very important piece to this offense. Without James Conner, this offense doesn't move like it did today. And James Conner is the reason why your Marvin Harrisons, why your Michael Wilsons, why all your other playmakers, your Trey McBrides get going and have great games like this. So he's one of those guys that he's a focal point in this offense. He's somebody that you have to have plugged and played in this offense, and he has to have his touches. And we did a great job. Petsy did a great job getting him involved and everybody involved today.
Let's hear Damon. I think we've got clips from the head coach himself moments ago. Oh, we're working on it. We're working on it. I'm working on me. Here on the PHNX Cardinals post-game show. Before we jump into some clips, let's jump in, Damon, Dawg, to some super chats because you guys have been keeping us busy. We appreciate all of you. We're going to get to all of them. So if you send in a super chat at any point in the show, it will get read. But by the way, drop a like. We are over halfway to our goal of 500. And hell, let's go to 750 for our like goal. Monty Austin-Ford's burner, Damon, going to kick us off.
Yep, 199. Monty Austin-Ford's burner says bet the over.
The cryptic yet not so much K1 posting on social media this offseason, bet the over. Cardinals over under this year was about 7.5 in Vegas by the time the sports book closed. I mean, I think you got to feel pretty good about that.
Jessica 499 says, "Oh, so sweet! What a win that was. We needed this. We held the line.
Yes, we did.
We did need this."
Tyler H $2 says, "Wow, just wow. F the Rams, LFG boys."
I mean, like, to get people fired up about football in Arizona this year, you had to win this game. Like, we would have done a post-game show. I would have talked about the greater picture. I would have been depressed, but it's a long season. And that we get that. Everybody knows. Like, there are ebbs and flows. The Cardinals could very well lose their next 5. We don't know. I hope not. But, like,
it's the Rams, though. You beat the Rams.
That's
it's a
right.
divisional opponent. It's a rival in your division. I mean, to come out and get your first win of the season against a divisional opponent, against a rival, and not only to beat them, but to just embarrass them, like that's everything you wanted to see.
And to also become a force at home again, like make State Farm Stadium, which is a premier stadium with great fans. It hosts Super Bowls. It hosts Fiesta Bowls. You know, once upon a time, BCS, now national championship games. Make that mean something here. Don't let these opposing fan bases come into your building week after week and treat it like a supplemental home game for them. Take this stadium back. And I thought today was a great step forward. And I'm sure Michael Bidwell liked what he saw today.
Oh, I'm sure he did too. It's the teams that travel well when they come to State Farm that you've got to get in, and it's trying to keep as many Seahawk fans out of that building as possible. Because Lord knows, if I ever have to hear that Seahawk chant loud again,
Gross.
I might just put it. I might just end it all. That is the nastiest thing.
I'll tell you what's not nasty. Shopping the number 18 collection right now. Again, We talked about a player of the game, Marvin Harrison Jr., the X Factor. How about this X Factor for your wardrobe? You can't cop a number 18 jersey yet. Although Josh Weinfuss, ESPN, said Marvin and his legal team, his dad, they've hired a mediator. So they're hoping to work things out with Fanatics. And love that. Would love to cop a number 18 jersey at the team store. In the meantime, though, you're looking at these 3 shirts right here, Brittan Golden. This is the best that number 18 has to offer, led by what I think, and I'm about ready to buy my second version of this because I've been wearing it out. I wore it to my son's, he went to a 9-year-old birthday party yesterday. I was repping the MHJT. Couldn't have gotten more compliments on it.
Well, I mean, they all look good.
Yeah.
And since you can't have a jersey yet, you might as well have something with his face on it.
That's right. Absolutely. Get the number 18 collection today. Get a free shirt by becoming a diehard. Go PHNX.com. Then get a future shirt for 20% off every single year you are a diehard. Again, that is available. Those are available right now. PHNXlocker.com. And you get a shirt for free when you become a diehard. So many good incentives. So much good content. Member Discord, whatever you want. It's not the last time you hear me talk about the number 18 collection, because this collection, which we put a lot of effort in, gotten a lot of feedback on, really felt like it came to fruition today, Damon, Dawg, with the performance of Marvin Harrison Jr. And let's keep these super chats going.
Yeah, I'm going to skip the line here a little bit because I didn't see this one earlier. Biscuits and the Bear, $130 super chat. Says match for Marv. Just a reminder, Johnny was not a hold the liner. Just kidding. This season will be something special. So grateful for you, Pod. You're right, Biscuits in the Bear. Johnny was not a hold the liner. No one will ever forget that. And thank you so much for your generosity, sir.
That is so generous. And I know we're boys, Biscuits and Bear, very tongue in cheek. If you could have seen, we probably have to get a camera at some point, although we're a family show now and there'll be expletives. But this studio, when Marv was having the first quarter that he was having, I'm sure like a lot of you at home, or if you were lucky enough to be at State Farm Stadium, I see Saul Bookman in chat. He was at State Farm Stadium today. Bo Brock, Craig Morgan. Like the Cardinals are now becoming an attraction again, and hopefully an attraction of winning. But like, I want to buy a ticket and I want to take my son or my daughter, whomever, to watch number 18 play football. I want to watch number 1 play football, or number 85 or number 14. Whereas so many times it's like, come out and support the Cardinals because that's what you do. And I'm of that mindset, but not everybody's of that mindset. It's like when, Randy Moss came to your town. It's like, oh yeah, I want to go watch Randy Moss play football.
Well, you could even make the argument. I mean, 5-6 years ago, it was, and before that, it was, hey, I want to go to State Farm Stadium to watch Larry Fitzgerald play the game. I want to go to State Farm Stadium to watch Michael Floyd or John Brown or whoever else is out there. You had Tyrann Matthews, Patrick Petersons. You had names. You had guys.
Yep.
And we had a good football team that you put on the field. There was people you had players that people wanted to go see. And the Cardinals are bringing that back. You've got guys on offense that are dynamic with K1 and Marv and James Conner and Trey McBride. You got defensive guys with Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson, Kazir White, guys like that. I mean, you've got names. You've got guys on this team that kids look up to and want to go see on Sundays. And I think it's just the beginning for something special.
This is special right now. All these super chats we're going to get to. Damon, you just let me know when the clips are ready to roll, my friend. We're going to hear from JG. We're going to hear from Kyler Murray. And, of course, we're going to hear from Bo Brock and Craig Morgan at State Farm Stadium. Let's keep this party going with these super chats, Damon, Dawg.
Saul Bookman, $9.99, as you mentioned earlier, Johnny, says, crowd was electric, chat is electric, y'all are electric, let's keep going, boys.
Saul Bookman, if you didn't know, with a well-deserved promotion. He's still part of the PHNX Sports family, still lives here in the Valley, but moving up in the all-city ranks. We appreciate you, Saul. Big reason why this show exists in the way it does is because of that man right there. We appreciate you, Saul Bookman. And Saul was in attendance today, and it's like, I'm so glad he was able to take that in. I love doing it in studio. Biggest, downfall is can't go watch Marv do his thing. Can't go watch K1 do his thing. A lot of people are like, are you going to be at the game? And I'm like, I would love to be at the game, but, it's tough to get from Glendale to downtown Phoenix in time.
Yeah, in time to get, especially that halftime show would be pushing it.
But we love you, Saul. Let's keep it going. Damon, Dawg.
Cardi D, 40 burger.
That always looks good on the scorecard.
It was an easy one, too. I mean, like, Clayton Tune not fumbling away that snap. I mean, they would have got more points. They were poised to score again. They were 6 yards away. We're going to talk about it later on By the Numbers. They were 6 yards away from 500 total yards. I mean, it was chunk plays. It was on the ground. It was, I mean, like, I can't remember any negative plays for this team outside of the K1 sack at the end of the half where the Rams did a nice job. Like, for the most part, the Cardinals were going north and south today.
I mean, and that's all you can ask for. I mean, and running back wise, I think Trey had a rough day finding the hole, seeing the hole, however you want to say it.
Yeah,
But
he's got ways to
I
go.
mean, he is a rookie. It's a different game. I
Yeah.
mean, it's to the fact where you got to realize you're not in college anymore. The bouncing it outside every time you want to do it, that doesn't work in this league because you got defensive linemen that are faster than you are.
Yeah.
It's a different time. Now, between James Conner, we know how he's a north and south runner. He always has been. He's a DeMercado showed signs today. I mean, he exploded through that hole for a big 30-plus yard gain today too. So, I mean, north and south as an offense is exactly what you want to do, and they did a good job of just sticking their foot in the ground and getting the yards.
Damon, Dawg, we ready for some clips, my guy?
We are. Do you want to hear first from Jonathan Gannon or Kyler Murray?
Let's hear from the ball coach himself, JG.
JG on Marvin Harrison Jr.
Honestly, you guys are going to think I'm a liar. The ball went where it should go. You know what I mean? So they were doing some different things, but we had planned for. I wouldn't say. They threw some curveballs too.
You keep queuing
but
these up one
just
at a
thought it was a
time
good
as we
plan in
come
place,
back.
and 18 got going today.
Next up, we have Jonathan Gannon on the pass rush performance today, 5 sacks.
The rush was lights out. You know what I mean? I thought the plan was good. It was executed in practice all week, and we had a bunch of guys win one-on-one, and I thought the back end did a really good job of taking, some things that they wanted to do away. Guys winning leverages, guys winning one-on-ones, getting on the right people. The help was displaced. The zone distribution was displaced where it should be. And, when you make the quarterback hold it, we had guys winning. So I thought that was kind of a winning edge for us, and they did a good job.
And now we got Kyler Murray talking about the game itself.
Just great game. Great game. Marvelous work out there. Great team effort, offense, defense, special teams. Great week of practice. Expect to come out here and play like this when you're prepared and you got a great feel for it.
And then now we got Kyler on offensive coordinator Drew Petzing, who was kind of under fire earlier in the week, and this is what he had to say.
Drew again. Drew called plays. I'm trying to go out there and execute. Obviously, I've played for a long time. You want to get your guys the ball early, so they can feel like they're in the game. Get them going, get their juices flowing. I feel like we did a great job of that today.
Lot to take in there. Hearing from JG and Kyler Murray. Of course, we're going to hear from Craig Morgan and Bo Brack at State Farm Stadium here in just a little bit. But I mean, my immediate takeaway from that, the JG comments on Marvin Harrison Jr. It's like the ball is supposed to go where it is supposed to go. Like, I think you just, at the end of the day, you're just like, I'm going to let my playmakers be playmakers. I'm going to let my best players win me the game. And like, we didn't get to see that from JG much last year. And this is not a knock on the players, but it's like, where did you have to lean on? Like they leaned on K1 and James Conner and Trey McBride late last year. But now it's like, it's so obvious what they have in this player and these players offensively. And week one, it almost seemed like maybe trying to outthink the room a little bit. And this is just, everybody knew you could throw deep on the Rams, and kudos for the Cardinals for, executing it at this high level.
Yeah. I mean, I get what he's saying when he was talking about the ball went where it's supposed to. It's, in the NFL, the premeditated throws are what gets you in trouble, right? When you try to design a game plan that says we're going to force feed this guy the ball, like you can do that, but it's going to cost you in some instances. There's going to come interceptions because you're trying to force the ball. I mean, you got to kind of hear what Kyler said last week of, the ball goes to where the ball goes. He's got to read the defense.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you can draw up as many plays as you want to and say it's designed to go to this guy. It is. Depending on the coverage you get. If you don't get that coverage or somebody takes that away, you've got to go through your reads and find the open guy. So, I mean, do you want to see Marvin Harrison get 10, 12, 14 targets a game? Yes, we all do. Everybody who roots for any team in the NFL wants to see their number one receiver get that many targets.
Yeah.
But if you force feed the ball in that instance, now you're sitting here talking about why does Kyler have 8 interceptions right now through 4 games? And right now, we've got a goose egg. He's seeing the field. He's reading the field. He's getting the ball out when he can and getting it to the right guy. And he showed it perfectly today with a perfect passer.
And it's like Kyler, knock on wood, has not been close to throwing an interception through 2 games thus far against what a lot of people think are 2 of the better defenses. I know the Rams they are what they are, but on paper, these are playoff level defenses. These are, great head coaches that the Cardinals are facing. So like the efficiency from K1, like outside of like he missed a throw to Marv later in the game, a crossing route where Marv was open. And then they're not quite, Kurt Warner, Fitzgerald-esque with their end zone fades yet. Like if there's one thing to improve upon, like one-on-one coverage, like they'll get that situated. God forbid it takes them more than 2 weeks. But outside of that, I mean, the backyard football aspect of this relationship that we have not seen from K1 since really DeAndre Hopkins, where I'm going to buy time with my legs, not necessarily looking to run, and I'm going to keep my eyes downfield. And Marvin is so elusive. Like the safety lost him, the corner lost him. He stayed in bounds on that one scramble play. And then you have to go and you have to catch up to him. I mean, that's a deadly combination. And this is not a knock on K1. Like you have to play the cards you're dealt. No pun intended. Kyler Murray is, 5'10". So flushing a receiving core with undersized receivers like Hollywood Brown and Andy Isabella is not in your best, and Rondale Moore is not in your best interest to win games. Marvin Harrison Jr. is all of 6'4.5". Trey McBride and Michael Wilson are enormous targets, right? Elijah Higgins is well over 6'2", and he found him in the end zone. Like, that's a thing. And it's shame on the Cardinals, not to go negative here, for taking this long to understand that. Because now it's like, this is the most efficient Kyler Murray that we've seen, certainly since his start in 2021 when he had A.J. Green and D-Hop. Give him big receivers, and he will flourish because of it.
No, and it's good. I mean, the league kind of went on notice, because there was a whole couple years where everybody was trying to find that smaller, faster, really quick wide receiver.
Yep.
And you can't get away from the big target. Everybody needs a big target, right? As much as I hated to say it because I was the smaller one, right?
You're not small. How big are you? How tall are you?
Listen, I'm big. I'm wide now, okay? I stopped playing ball.
Are you 6 foot?
You're flirting with it.
Okay. We'd love to be flirting with Cardinal fans would love to flirt with 6 foot during the Steve Keim years. We couldn't even get into the club.
I was here. Everybody was outside of John Brown and J.J. Nelson. You had Larry was 6'3", 6'4". Mike was 6'4". Jerron Brown was 6'2".
Yeah, but the last 3 years before, Marvin and Michael and Trey, we were all wearing like disco heels to try to be 6 foot. I mean, this group was small, and you saw it on Sunday. You couldn't find people downfield.
Yeah, but you got it now, right? You got 6'4" on the outside. You got a couple 6'2", 6'3s. However, you got a bunch of big receivers. And then you can just scare the hell out of everybody with a little Greg Dortch who just squeezes his way in the middle underneath. And go, wow.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, you've got everything you want offensively right now in the skill position room with the receivers and running backs. I mean, you can't miss. It's all about just finding your playmakers and getting them the ball right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna go off script here because you just said something. You have everything you want offensively, and then you see the end product today. And I know we're only 2 weeks into this, and the defense had a tremendous bounce back performance. They gave up 10 points. I don't think that's the norm, but you will certainly take it. And Damon, Dawg, I want your input on this as well, because we talked about this in the studio throughout today. I'd love to hear from Cardinal fans who are of the mindset, and no judgment here, that we're sticking to the rebuild. We're sticking to the timeline. This team, let's just see where the chips fall at the end of the year. Because I'm looking at a team right now in a parity-filled NFC with, I don't think, a great team. I mean, don't tell me the Saints are a great team after 2 weeks. Like, no, I'm not here to hear that. Like, the Cowboys have regressed. The Niners have regressed. The Cardinals just buried. The Rams are dead. Goodbye. I don't buy the Seahawks from beating Bo Nix and Jacoby Brissett. I don't take anybody in the NFC South seriously. Green Bay lost their quarterback, and the Lions just lost to Baker Mayfield today. The NFC is wide open. You cannot tell me you're sitting here talking about rebuild after what we just saw today with a top 5 player at quarterback right now and not think to yourself, what is it going to take for this team to go get Hassan Reddick? The New York Jets played good defense today. They're fine in Hassan Reddick. That relationship seems dead and buried. Damon, I'm going to start with you. Is there more pressure right now for Monty Ossenford to say, my team is ahead of schedule offensively, defense can overachieve on certain Sundays, let's go help this team screw a wild card. Let's talk about winning the NFC West. You get top 5 quarterback play from Kyler Murray, you should be thinking NFC West.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the goal should be the division, but I'm going to stick to my realistic expectation of they go get a wild card. I still think the 49ers are a really good team.
And that's fair. Totally fair.
But I think that you can't understate how helpful to a rebuild making a wild card in year 2 is.
100%.
Because I think that a lot of people get lost in the fact that like you can't get better or improve as a team or like have aspirations to make the playoffs because we're rebuilding. But that's not really the case in my opinion. I think, you think you can make playoffs, have that momentum catapult you into year 3, where then the expectation is win playoff games.
Yep. Win a Super Bowl, God forbid. I mean, Brittan, like, is this a playoff offense to you after 2 weeks watching this team?
I mean, if from the first half last week and then to the complete game we saw today,
yeah,
offensively, I think you have a playoff team. You have a team that could compete in the playoff game.
Yes.
I don't want to say I don't like the rebuild word. I think if you're going to talk about rebuild, that's what you did last year.
Correct.
Right? You had to suffer through 10 weeks to get your franchise quarterback back.
Mm-hmm.
You had a good draft last year, and then you backdoor with, I think your rebuild ended with the draft this year. Yes, there's still pieces you're missing, but that you can say that about every team in the NFL. Somebody's missing a piece somewhere. Right. So there's pieces missing, but that can be solved, right? That can be solved with trades. That can be solved with, with anything. Somebody gets cut and it just happens to be
rookies with more playing time.
Rookies coming out. Right. So at this point, it's no longer a rebuild. Now it's like Damon said, you're vying for a wild card position, right? To even say that there's an opportunity for you to make a wild card in year 2 of your rebuild you're already ahead. So if you can continue offensively, what we've saw from the first half last week to the game this week, if you can continue that this year, you're looking at a team that has a very good opportunity to make a wild card spot. Now, it's going to come down defensively. Can your defense get this same type of momentum against a Detroit Lions team?
Mm-hmm.
Can they get this same type of momentum, against a 49ers team, and a healthy 49ers team? There's going to be a time at some point this year where you're going to have to play the 49ers, and they're going to be at full force.
Yeah.
Right. So it's, if you can get some type of production, some type of pressure on quarterbacks defensively and force them into bad situations, and your offense can continue what they did today, I think you have a playoff football team.
It's well said. And again, like, why can't this offense serve as, I'm going to use Peyton Manning as an example because it's Marvin Harrison Sr.'s son plays for the Cardinals now. That offense in Denver, that offense in Indianapolis was quick scoring, fast pace, bunch of points. Cardinals are going to be after today a top 5 offense in the NFL. Those defenses weren't overly physical, but what did they have? They had 2 bookend edge rushers led by Dwight Freeney to come after the opposing quarterback. The Cardinals, I think, have a lot of unique pieces defensively. Mack Wilson, Budda Baker had a phenomenal game today. Go and help your pass rush. Darius Robinson will be back in under a month, maybe sooner.
He got 2 weeks, I think, left after the day. He's got to wait 4 weeks, so he's got 2 weeks.
So we'll see Darius in
week
October, week 5 at the earliest against San Francisco. Help your team. Like, I am not in the business. I'm not going to sell my soul for a playoff spot this year, but you don't have to do that for Hassan Reddick. I'm not selling my soul during this rebuild and giving away future first, but there's absolutely an avenue for this team to get better as early as tomorrow, if you pick up the phone and call Joe Douglas, to help this team and continue the momentum. Because right now, they're going to believe they can beat anybody after today. And who knows? At this pace, they play like this offensively today. Like I tweeted this out. Like they can play with anybody. They can beat anybody. When Kyler Murray looks like this, they are as formidable as they come. We're going to get to Bo Brack here in a second, live on the field at State Farm Stadium alongside Craig Morgan. But first, I want to tell you, did anybody hit their bets with our friends at Bet365? I sure as hell hope so. We continued our streak, 60% hitting it, 2 out of 3 on our pregame show. Of course, both of our K1 prop bets hit. Kyler Murray exceeding his longest completion of 34.5 and his over of 250 yards passing was close. Didn't hit our plus 265 on Michael Wilson, over 50 yards. But again, if you're playing with bonus bets, baby, it's free money using the bonus code PHNX 365 when you sign up. Again, Bet365. They are so premier. They are so elite. If you haven't checked out the app, the interface is fantastic. 90 million users worldwide, including 780,000 events each year. NBA, NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, and more across 78 different sports. Get hooked up with the bet and get offer. Place $5 Get $200 in bonus bets, no questions asked, with a newly created account and a deposit of just $10 or more. Plus, if you're feeling frisky, I know a lot of people were thinking Cardinals may lose this game, but I want a safety bet. They've got the first bet safety net offer by placing up to $1,000. If your qualifying bet loses, you receive a match refund, no questions asked, with your bonus bets. Again, check them out. Bet365 right now. Download the app today. Use that bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. I love it when people send us the tickets that they've been cashing in on throughout the course of the weekend. College football, NFL alike. You do have to be 21 years and older and physically located here in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, they want to help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Damon, for more information.
Yep. And then, of course, we have right next to Johnny, I mean, you can't really see it too well right there, but we have, if I click on him, we have this branded Bills hat, this beautiful ASU branded Bills hat over there.
Tremendous.
I'm obviously, not an ASU guy. Everyone knows that about me. But it's a really nice looking hat. Anything with the state of Arizona in it that plays off the Arizona flag, I think, is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of these branded Bills hats. Of course, I got my U of A one that they gave me, that it looks exactly the same. It's navy blue. If you want to just upgrade any of your company, your softball team, anything that you have, you want to go to Brandon Bills, customize some hats, use code PHNX for 20% off your first order, and elevate that brand. They're a local company from Mesa. They support Arizona causes. We love Brandon Bills, and we're excited to partner up with them. So head to brandonbills.com and use code PHNX for 20% off your first order.
Fired up for Brandon Bills' partnership with PHNX Sports. Fired up to be joined by Bo Brack, the fine co-host on this podcast, as well as the PHNX Cardinals beat reporter Craig Morgan, live from State Farm Stadium.
In a little bit.
We're going to hear from them in just a minute. But first, I want to hear from our friends at Desert Financial. How about a little by the numbers, folks? This was a bloodbath. You ask, how much of a bloodbath was it? Well, let's let the numbers via Desert Financial tell the story here. Cardinals, Brittan Golden, outgained the outgained the LA Rams 489 to 245. Again, 11 yards away from 500 total yards of offense. How about those rushing yards? I mean, 53 to 231. Obviously, Matthew Stafford keeping it viable or somewhat with the passing yards, but sacks 1 to 5. Both teams had one turnover. I mean, what's the most damning number between these two, do you think here?
Honestly, it's the rushing yards, right? I mean, when you see they had 53 total yards on the ground.
Yeah.
Right. That just lets you know that they were uncomfortable all day long. You're forcing passes right now. Now you're throwing the ball so many times, and your passing yards were under 200. I mean, the defense really came to play today, and they must have heard us, chirping before the game started on the pregame show, because they came out with some fire in their gut. But, I mean, offensively, defensively, you got a complete game. I think the turnover for us is kind of lame, because it was, it
was tune
it
related.
was garbage time turnover. But
it was a tune turnover.
Outside of that, look at the bottom one. You had 5 sacks to 1.
Mm-hmm.
The defense showed up and got to the quarterback, which is exactly what we talked about earlier. That was a key to winning this game, and they showed up and did exactly what they had to do.
Having this dominant of a performance, like in every facet against Sean McVay, should not be taken for granted. Like, there are going to be a lot of people this week in the national media. They're like, Rams are hurt. Let's feel sorry for the Rams. Did anybody feel sorry for this team, for the Arizona Cardinals, when they didn't have Kyler Murray last year? Did anybody feel sorry for the Arizona Cardinals in years prior, where Carson Palmer tore his ACL, or Tyron Honey Badger was done for the year, or D-Hop was out? No, just suit up. Your best 53. They had their franchise quarterback. They had their, what I think is a Hall of Fame level head coach, Super Bowl winning head coach. I don't want to hear about injuries on either side. Cardinals came in and they ran the ball effectively for 4 quarters. They made Matthew Stafford uncomfortable, and they let their quarterback tell Matthew Stafford, you're done. Your time is up. You're not viable anymore. This division is mine now. And so now for Kyler Murray, he's in a position now, 1 week at a time, hierarchy game by hierarchy game, announcing himself as a major player in the NFC. Like, this is exactly what you needed to do. If this was a shootout, people could still poo-poo the Cardinals here and there. Oh, the pass rush. Oh, the defense. Oh, the offensive line, turnovers. This was a complete game that I would say wholeheartedly, with how it ended, was not as close, Brittan Golden, as even the final score indicated.
Oh, no. I mean, honestly, I felt like the Cardinals left 15, 20 points on the board.
Yep.
I mean, there was yards left out there. Like you said, we were a few yards short of a 500 yard offensive day.
Yep.
We honestly, I mean, if Kyler Murray plays this entire game, you're looking at a 600-yard day offensively. So
No doubt.
I think there were still plays left out there, but for the most part, this was a complete game put together by both sides of the football, really all three phases. I mean, you showed up and you did what you were supposed to do.
We're still waiting on Bo Brock, Craig Morgan, but in the meantime, perfect time to drop some likes. Again, we're shooting for 750 likes. We've revised the like total. Got over 900 watching on YouTube alone, over 1,500 total watching live. God bless you all from the football gods. Leave a like for your boys here on your premier Arizona Cardinal postgame show here at PHNX Cardinals, PHNX Sports. We're going to be doing this every week. We do it every week. We do it every day, a daily podcast here on PHNX Sports. And buckle up. I think we're in for a special season. We thought that we could. You got to put forth 4 quarters of completion to be able to make that happen. But so fired up with what we've got going on here at PHNX Sports and specifically here at PHNX Cardinals. Damon, are we ready to hear from the boys at State Farm Stadium? I teased it. Let's double down. Bo Brock, co-host of PHNX Cardinals, as well as the PHNX Cardinals beat reporter. Here's Craig Morgan. Gentlemen, how we living after what was undoubtedly the most impressive, dominant game in the JG era of Arizona Cardinal football?
Well, Johnny, let me ask you this, how the turntables have turned, my friend, as the Arizona Cardinals did take care of business. And I hear you go on there, and now you're talking your trash, and I love to hear it. I love fired up, Johnny. But the Arizona Cardinals took care of business as much as they could have with a 41-10 drubbing of their division rival, the Los Angeles Rams. For the first time in his career since taking over as Rams head coach, Sean McVay leaves Arizona with his tail between his legs, and that's thanks to a complete performance, top to bottom, 3 phases of the game. Arizona Cardinals dominated. It was a beautiful thing to see.
How did JG feel after the game? You looked composed. We had some clips earlier, but you were with the head ball coach himself. It's a long season, but going 0-7 in the division to start his career would have been tough. Now he turns around and it's very a viable team are the Arizona Cardinals after 2 weeks.
As you said, kind of subdued, right? He wasn't going to give us the money quotes, but he was fired up with how his team performed. He liked what he saw from his quarterback. He says that's what you expect. That's what you get from a premium player like Kyler Murray, who was in his bag the entire game. Marvin Harrison Jr., he wouldn't allude or say anything that they were going to force feed him the ball, even though, they were able to do it with success against him. He liked how they ran the football, how they played complementary football, how they came off the edge for the first time in forever. They got 5 sacks from their defense. So I think Jonathan Gannon just knew that they needed to come out here and get a win, no matter who was across from it. It just happened to be when they're NFC West foes, and they got his first division win, and I think he's excited about that, obviously.
People are excited, Brittan Golden, to make me eat crow on Dennis Gardeck. And while I am happy for Dennis and his 3-sack performance, I also think it's important to keep things in context. The LA Rams were missing a backup left tackle. He had a good game. Dennis Gardeck had a good game.
Yeah. Listen, I don't care if it was 18-year-olds on that offensive line. Dennis Gardeck undressed everybody there. 3 sacks, forced fumble. We're barbarian fans over here, and you're about to be. We might get it signed and make you frame it and put it in the house.
Listen, that's great. I will happily dress like a clown on any post-game show if it means the Cardinals are getting dubs and pressure in the process. But, Bo, we chatted about it, of course, earlier in the show. This defense, I don't think it's fair to expect performances like this every week. But you can certainly tell that this unit fed off the enthusiasm coming from this offense. I mean, when you've got Randy Moss 2.0 and MHJ for about, 2.5 quarters, it's easy to just come out and fly around. And I thought the defense overachieved, but I also don't think it's realistic to expect these kind of performances every Sunday. How do you feel about the defense today?
Johnny, my foolish co-host, how dare you? They had to set the damn tone. They came out after a long kick return to midfield, and what did they do? They got off the field. They forced the turnover on downs against Matthew Stafford and that rushing attack that absolutely just gutted them twice last season. They got off the field with a big stand. They got the ball in the offense's hand, and then the offense, they took care of business. But then what happened again? They forced a punt. They forced either a turnover and downs or a punt on the first 3 possessions. You saw that they held also down towards the end of the half. They held the Rams out of the end zone. A good non-call there at the end of the half, and it was they did absolutely everything that they needed to do. Sure, it's an undermanned Rams offense, but that's what you had to do as a defense. And no, let's give them more credit than that. that they just fed off the offense, because I think that the offense was able to complement what they did to start this game and really kind of put and flush the performance last week and get a good one this week.
All right, so let's talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. I've said it multiple times now. Out of body experience here in the studio, watching what I think is Randy Moss 2.0. What was it like in the stadium? You were slightly ahead of me, texting me updates before the television here in Phoenix got caught up. But in all seriousness, like number 18, we're having flashbacks of watching number 11, are we not?
Yeah, I was having flashbacks when like Katy Perry was the halftime show, and she was on like she was up in the stadium. I was levitating as well, just watching it. It was an out of body experience. But you know what's great? It's like we talk about this team; they stay hungry. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. said, like, yeah, it was good. Like Josh Weinfuss asked him, like, hey, you had 130 and 2 touchdowns at the end of their first quarter. That's got to be as good of a performance from a wide receiver in the NFL. He's like, yep. But also, he was like, when he was asked about Kyler Murray, he's like, Kyler Murray went 17 for 21. His 4 incompletions, they were balls thrown to me. I've got to be better. When he was targeting somebody else, like the ball didn't hit the ground. So Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, obviously made a statement and wanted to prove people wrong about all the stupid stuff they were saying last week. At the same time, understands that there's room for growth.
We talked about it, Bo, before you jumped on, where this team fits now in the hierarchy of what I think is a very parity-filled NFC. Now that, Dallas has regressed, San Francisco lost. I don't buy the Seahawks with 2 big fraudulent wins against Bo Nix and Jacoby Brissett. Like, do you feel like, and Brittan and I and Damon were talking about before you jumped on, so we're going to gang up on you now. This is a playoff level offense. Will the Cardinals do what's necessary to get their defense to a playoff level defense with maybe a Hassan Reddick addition early this season? Because there's a pathway now for a very special year in Arizona, assuming the offense keeps it up.
Yeah, I think you've got the week 1 performance and you've got the week 2 performance. And probably where the truth lies is somewhere in the middle, as that cliche goes. But as far as the pass rush and the defense, and, if they can be somewhere, in between to complement this offense, that does bode well for the Arizona Cardinals. But what they needed today was exactly what they got, right? They needed to buy themselves some time and then let this offense kind of prove themselves worthy of maybe pulling off a deal and adding to this team. Because if they don't come out here and have the performance that they did and beat the holy hell out of the Rams 41-10, I think people are saying, well, it was a decent win over an undermanned team. But, I'm still not convinced. This was a convincing win. I had asked Kyler Murray at the end of the day, like, was this a statement? He says, well, we didn't come out here to make a statement. We just know that if we play to our capabilities, we got the ability to do something special. And that's paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. And, if they can continue to do this consistently, I think that absolutely will put this, especially the front office, more in a position to say, hey, we'll go out there, we'll spend draft capital because we're ahead of schedule. And it would prove, it would just be the right move for the organization to capitalize now sooner rather than later.
I'm going to ask both you guys this question. I'll start with you, Brittan Golden. Anybody that stood out today that we haven't given their flowers? We've been talking about Marv. We've been talking about K1. Anybody else that was a point of emphasis that you want to highlight?
The young corner, Melton.
Yeah.
I think he made a lot of good plays today on the defensive side of the ball. Came up, made some good tackles, was really good in coverage today. So, I think that'll be one of the ones. For me, that's the one that we haven't talked about enough that played really well today.
Bo, what about you?
Unsung guy, Kelvin Beachum. Trey McBride, I'm sure you guys gave him his flowers, but he was a solid. You can kind of keep the foot on the gas for this offense when they kind of they played the game of chess and started to take Marv away a little bit. James Conner, as always, but yeah, it's like you're right. Max Melton was in there, played a lot of snaps, probably out-snapped Starling Thomas across from Sean Murphy Bunting. Zaven Collins finally got home, so there was a ton of them for this team across the board. You really liked what you saw, so it was just, when you hear it like team effort, it absolutely was great overall performance by the Arizona Cardinals. But those are a bunch of guys that stood out.
For me, Matt Prater keeping the heat on, McVay and company, like those field goals may not seem like a lot in hindsight, but how many times have we seen it? You don't get points and they can turn around with a short field and make this closer than it needed to be. And Prater was so good. It was very poetic watching Prater and Marvin do their thing today because, you can't have one without the other in Arizona sports history. Prater done missed that field goal last year, and the Cardinals don't get Marvin Harrison Jr. So, and then, we have not talked about, yes, Prater, salute. You did your job, my friend, in holding the line once upon a time. Let's talk about Budda Baker and the performance we saw from number 3. I think two things can be true. Budda Baker can be an older player because he is, and maybe struggle in coverage at times, but he is a lightning rod for this team defensively. When he's playing like this at the line of scrimmage, you cannot cheat with the opposing offenses. And I think was Bo a big factor in the Rams struggling to establish a line of scrimmage dominance where he is flying around like a missile. That stop at the end of the first half, where the Rams score a touchdown there, you never know what may happen. Not only do they not get a touchdown, they only give a field goal because Budda Baker comes in like a lightning rod and stops Kerwin Williams in the open field. I mean, what was the play from number 3 that you saw today?
You're talking about Brittan's old teammate there, Kerwin Williams, but Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
Kyrwin. We don't have to worry about them.
Kerwin's in Vegas, man.
We don't have to worry about him regardless of what his name is. Goodbye.
But you're right. Like when it looked like, he broke it outside Kyron Williams and he was going to maybe pick up a first down and put themselves in a really good spot offensively. There comes, a rocket shot from Budda Baker. And I think he maybe 2, possibly 3 of those plays where he was right there to make a big stop when it was just him and the ball carrier. Like, sure, you look like the play before he gave up the big, pass and catch down the sideline here. He made a great play in the run game. So you're taking the good with the bad, but he's got that great defensive backs mentality where he's able to just refocus himself for the next play, and that showed up huge.
Want to dive into all these super chats. You guys have been patiently waiting. I'm going to do so with my guys, Bo, Brock, Damon, and Brittan. But first, I want to dive in to some Circle K. I was very fortunate watching the game at the studio today, loading up on Circle K snacks and goodies galore. Again, it's America's thirst stop. Sign up now to become a member of the Inner Circle for free using the Inner Circle Circle K app. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every single day, including, get this, your 5 first Polar Pops for free, as well as any future Froster or Polar Pop, just 79 cents. I love Circle K. I love saving money. I love what they stand for, what they have to offer. We know our guy, Michael Wilson, big fan of Circle K, as are we. Find it under the app, Inner Circle-offers, snacks, deals, and more. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. And again, the snacks are unparalleled at Circle K. And we didn't have anything but Circle K snacks to eat here at the studio, and we were just fine for 4 quarters of phenomenal football watching the Arizona Cardinals. Speaking of phenomenal, how about our friends at Empire Today? As somebody who's a new homeowner, I'm constantly looking for upgrades. I'm constantly looking to save money, but also get a quality product in the meantime. Empire Today, you talk about premier flooring. I'm always watching Instagram. I'm always watching social media. Who's cutting corners? Who's not getting the job done right? That's not Empire Today. And we're going to hook you up, save $350 on your first purchase by going to empiretoday.com/PHNX for premier flooring at not a premier price, right? They've got an array of selection. They do it fast and in a hurry. A convenience for you. It's a relationship that you build with Empire Today. It's not a one-off transaction. And again, I mentioned social media. Go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on the social media streets. Check out the horror shows of people trying to do their flooring. They're cutting corners. They're using other methods. And then you check out Empire Today, chef's kiss. It's exactly what you want. You can screw around with a lot of things in life, right? You can buy cheap underwear. Don't screw around with flooring, something you use every single day. Check them out, empiretoday.com. They're going to hook you up $350 off with the bonus code PHNX. We're getting hooked up right now, Damon, Dawg, with these super chats. Let's keep them flowing with our guy, Bo Brock at State Farm Stadium.
Yeah, AZ Moses says 199 says HTL. That was a beautiful whooping.
That was a whooping. Bo, did it feel like a whooping at the stadium by the Arizona Cardinals? Did it emulate what we saw on television?
Oh yeah, I mean it was 21-0, and they didn't look back. There was chances, there was times where the Rams could have tried to make this a game, and the Cardinals just wouldn't let them. And that we haven't seen that since maybe Thursday Night Football in 2022 when they beat the crap out of the Saints in Marco Wilson's diving into the end zone on the pick six.
Let's keep these going, Damon, Dawg. Then we're going to hear from Marvin Harrison Jr. here in a moment.
Potato Bread 499 says, no matter what the so-called experts say, this is the first of many this season. Congrats, Bird Gang.
Brittan Golden, I'm going to put you on the spot. How many wins can this team have if they continue to play like this offensively?
Offensively, if they put the product they put out on tape today continuously, you're looking at an 8-9 win team. I mean, I would give them 9 wins. I think you can win 9 games this year, which puts you in contention for a wild card position. If you can get the defense to play like they did today for the rest of the year, you can get 10. You could probably squeeze easily 10 wins out of this team.
Brack, are you willing to revise your prediction on wins here as we sit here after a 1-1 start?
Where was I? About 9
Yeah.
going into the season? Yeah, I think that stays true, right? I mean, so far, playing 500 ball, and you got to beat the teams that you should beat, and then you got to surprise the nation, nationwide, like people you weren't expect to beat. So far so good. You were favored in this game for most of the week, and you took care of business. You weren't favored last week, but then you got to start to kind of play above board a little bit. So yeah, I'm sticking right there. But you look, if they can change that with another huge performance next week against a Lions team coming in that hasn't played its best football yet.
I think that's a great point. Every week you're eclipsing everybody else's expectations. You got Kyler Murray post game on Twitter, doing the yawn emoji. I think that's very appropriate. I think the only individuals, the only people that know what this team is capable of are the 53 men in that locker room led by Jonathan Gannon and K1. Damon, Dawg, let's keep them going, my guy.
Before we keep going, we actually have Kyler here on this team's expectations post game.
Honestly, man, as a team, though, I expect greatness for this team. The way we work, the way we play for each other, the effort, the tenacity that we play with. I expect good things. I'm not going to say we came out here trying to make a statement, but try to come out here, get a win at home, and continue to do that.
Great stuff from K1. Now let's hear from Marvin Harrison Jr. post game.
I mean, I think within the building, we think we have the best offense in the NFL just from a talent standpoint, who the coaches are. And there's obviously with one back there, we can do anything. I think we got to continue to show that, improve that on a weekly basis, and we'll continue to get better. Obviously, the whole offense really hasn't had much, in-game action just yet. Really on that second game, so we can continue to grow. And I'm super excited to see where we go from here.
Brittan, you watch that and you think about Bo's comments after chatting with Marv, and it's like we're making a big deal out of his performance, which was historic, but it's like this is a guy who's played 2 NFL games. When you talk about scratching the surface, like Justin Jefferson is a great player. Was he a great player after 2 games? Was Jamar Chase? I mean, like we use this term a lot, sky being the limit. And I think with every game comes renewed expectations of what this player, what this prodigy, I would call him, is able to do. It's LeBron James-esque, in my opinion.
Or what he put on tape today just shows, like, what kind of player he is. You know what he can do. Now, for him, it's just about going out there and putting this show on the turf consistently.
Yeah.
And that starts with him. It starts with quarterback. It starts with, obviously, the offensive line, giving K1 time. But, I mean, we know what we have. He knows what he is. I mean, he's been playing big boy ball for a while. He's been playing out there at Ohio State. So he's played. He's been in the big games. He's played in front of hundreds of thousands of people before. This is not the issue. Right now, it's just being consistent, putting this on tape consistently and coming out each and every week and just letting them know, hey, I'm here. I'm right here. They're going to throw me the ball. I'm going to catch the ball. We're going to make something happen every single week. So it's time, right? You're in week 2. You showed it. We struggled week 1. We got here. We showed we could put out there. Now we got to keep it moving.
Bo, how was that MHJ elusive game speed that everybody complained about on Twitter this week? Was it the real deal in person?
It's something to monitor, Johnny. It's something that we definitely want to keep tabs on. That at 22, you just lose a couple steps, right? 20 miles per hour. They asked him about his second tutty where he did extend the ball, and he thought he might get a little something from his head coach because you're taught, I guess, not to do that, Brittan Golden. You can confirm that to me. But, like, he's like, I knew I was going to get it. It was one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to get chased down and taken down before I find the end zone here. So, yeah, he showed it off. It was the fastest recorded time in this game between all the players, Marvin Harrison Jr. at 20 miles per hour.
Hey, 20 miles an hour is rolling, whether you want to hear it or not. Yes, there's guys that run a lot faster, but 20 miles an hour is moving, whatever, however you want to call it. And they don't always look the fastest. Right? There's guys that look like they're not moving anywhere that can run 22, 23 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's all about the stride. So, I mean, if you're at home saying he looks slow, there's a reason why you're at home sitting on the couch watching the game.
I mean, his strides taken off in the open field and how wide open he looked, like that doesn't just happen, right?
No.
But we've been conditioned so long with small receivers here in Arizona where it's like, well, if a guy doesn't look like he's trying really hard with a bunch of short baby strides, then he must not be going very fast. Again, like I used the comp like I did early in this game. And Bo, you tweeted out a picture. Like Randy Moss didn't necessarily look like the fastest player, but he gracefully glided across the playing field with huge, gigantic strides and made it look easy. That's what the great ones do. And again, like kudos to Buffalo. The Cardinals, for whatever reason, didn't think it was a priority last week. It's a priority now. Like, do you envision, Bo, now every week moving forward, like what we saw from Cooper Kupp with the Detroit Lions last week? Like, is this what we're going to get? Is Marv, he had 8 targets today, basically taken off the second half, like 8 to 10 targets. Is that the norm now with JG's comments in the postgame show?
No, I mean, I think it's going to be week to week, right? It's really going to be that game of chess with defensive coordinators. Do they feel like they've got a good game plan that they can put in place? But like to your point earlier, like this is his second game. He hasn't seen everything just yet. So we'll see how he reacts and how, Petzing and Kyler and him and the rest of the playmakers can respond to that. So I think, like, look, this is what you needed to see. This was necessary right now for him to have this rebound performance. And he didn't need 130 and 2 touchdowns, but he gave it to you because he has that extra gear. So, it's good for the Cardinals that they were, in Marvin Harrison Jr., that he was able to accomplish that. But I'm not saying that, hey, lock it in each and every week, as I don't think, you're saying that either. So it was the rebound performance that they needed, but like to expect this from a first-year receiver each and every week, like I'm not sharpieing that in, but you got to be confident going forward that he's going to be, the primary playmaker that defenses are, like Buffalo did in week 1, are going to try to take away so that you can take that big element out of the Cardinals offense.
Yeah, speaking of lock in the number 18 collection, we talked about it earlier. Did you see any PHNX Cardinals merch on display at State Farm Stadium, Bo? And even if you didn't, you're not allowed to say no.
No, I did. I could, in my perch from the press box, you could see down that you had the math T-shirt on, which was a great P to have handy today because you were punching in your calculator quite a few times early in the first quarter with that math T, 1 + 18 = 6. But it was great to see the Bird Gang, the Red Sea rep, PHNX Sports, PHNX Locker, and it's not too late. It's time to jump on the bandwagon. The only way to do so, I took the team shop. There's still no jerseys in there. Best way to rep 18, the 18 collection, PHNXLocker.com. Also, yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, before we get out of here, I just want this is like comes from the bottom of my heart. Like,
oh no,
it's just. Right now, there are some people that are struggling in this world, especially out there on the Twitter streets. And I want to just say I'm with you. I'm not going to unite with you, but the Kyler haters out there, they had a tough day today. They had probably the toughest day in a long time, and they've got many more of those days to come. And just wanted to say, hey, man, we're thinking about you.
We're thinking about you and your big dumb brains out there, especially in the local market here in Arizona, who were questioning K1 after a top 5 QBR game against the Buffalo Bills. Prayers up to you and your football acumen, because you certainly need it. As I'm repping the K1 jersey today, I told Brittan, Bo, early in the broadcast, I'm not going to go full fanboy and wear the K1 jersey yet, although that is coming because, again, he's the best homegrown quarterback this franchise has ever had. I don't know how you watch that in all seriousness, and like I feel like we've buried the lead, Bo, but like you watch K1's performance today and you're just like, yeah, you know what? The Cardinals, they can upgrade. I just don't like, he's too short for me, and I'm not into his contract, blah, 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 blah. No, I think you can look at this game and be like, oh, Kyler Murray finally has a real head coach, a competent offensive coordinator. Look what this team can do. But yeah, tough day. Prayers up to the people who are anti-K1, Brittan Goldwyn.
I'm not saying a prayer for any of them.
That's right. There's a lot of things we'd like to say, but we're a PG show now. Damon, Dawg, let's jump back into these super chats. Before we do, Bo Brock, We don't want to keep you too long, my friend. Are you free to hang out, or should you go and grind in the locker room?
No, I'm always free to hang out. I have nowhere to go.
Perfect. They're not gonna plow you off the field.
Always free to hang out unless we do karaoke as a company, and then apparently
that's true. Very true.
he can't make his way there.
Come
Wow.
on, you're gonna negative
you
vibes.
do
and a
the
positive
you're the
vibe
karaoke is kind of like Johnny and a steak.
Listen, this is a family show. We're celebrating today's win. We don't need to have fighting amongst the four of us, and that's not good karma for next week. Damon, Dawg, you should know better. Back to the super chats, please.
Back to the super chats. Chaz499 says, "Howdy, fellas, great dub. I'm inviting my whole neighborhood for a barbecue after this W. We beat a team that the Lions or Kittens struggled with."
How about it? I'd love to be invited to that barbecue, Chaz. Just a heads up. You got my contact info. Love to be there.
Pedro499 says, "This was fun. Now do they go after Hassan?"
Yes, 100%. I'm not even fanboy Johnny. We've had it sourced on this show. They've had conversations with the Jets. I can confirm that for everybody who needs that confirmed here. All 1,700 that are watching, the Cardinals have had conversations about Hassan Reddick. I believe they will continue to have them. If you're Monty Ossenford, the Jets can feel good about it because you can ship them a depth piece and a 4th-round pick and get a premier pass rusher for JG and go try to win the NFC West. I'm not poo-pooing this win, just like I'm not downgrading last week's loss. Last week was a bad loss. You come back and you stomp a mud hole in a division competitor today. Bo, I said earlier on today's broadcast, the LA Rams season is over. Their season is over. They're 0-2. They're missing half their team. They have to go on the road to San Francisco next week.
We're 2 weeks in.
The LA Rams season is over. Now, go get Hassan Reddick and stake your claim as at least the second best team. No one's taking the Seahawks seriously. Go over there. How would you navigate the landscape of the NFC West today, Bo?
Can I first say it's early?
No,
I'm
you
not
can't.
throwing dirt
You
on it.
can't.
It's week 2, John.
You can't say it's early.
We got 15 more games.
Goodbye, Rams. It's over for you. See you in 2025.
They're well coached.
Maybe.
They're well coached. They'll get healthier. No, I'm not burying them just yet, but I love it. I love the passion. I'm here for it. And I'm not buying a win over the Broncos and sneaking by the Patriots. The Seahawks. So
Seahawks 2-0. Shane Diefenbach was on speaker earlier at the studio today, commending the Seahawks overtime win against Jacoby Brissett. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead, Bo.
No, and then the Niners just they're getting bit by the injury bug as well. I mean, so
it's a damn shame.
And they lost to Sam Darnold. So outside of the Seahawks sneaking that one out, it went about as good as you could go for the Cardinals. It's like Niners lose, some key players went down, continue to be out, and then you got the Seahawks struggling, and then you're beating the holy hell out of a team that usually is laying one on you. So it's coming up Cardinals right now in week 2.
Let's keep it going, Damon, Dawg.
Next super chat comes from Daniel, and he says, "I saw so many fake Marv jerseys at the game. Haha."
That's
Everybody went and got the Wuhan version.
That's sad, but I love it just as much. If you're not out there buying fake Marv jerseys, what are you doing? Hopefully you're shopping the number 18 collection. Let's keep it going, Damon, Dawg.
The new regime, $4.99. A win is a win, but it's a little hard to be fully satisfied considering how shorthanded the Rams were. It was our ones versus their twos. I don't like that.
McVay and Stafford. You beat McVay and Stafford. That's what you take away.
You can say twos in positions. It's not necessarily you didn't necessarily play against the twos from the Rams. Now you had a left tackle missing. You had Puka Nacua missing. They lost Cooper Kupp. Yeah, you lost pieces, but I mean,
their whole defense is healthy.
At the end of the day, you got to think about it. This was the best 53 players the Rams thought that they had. This is the NFL. Everybody puts the best 53 players on the roster that they think is going to help their team win. These are the backups that they thought could come in and do the job just as well as the guys that start. These are the guys that they wanted. All right, so you can say shorthanded, you can do what you got to do, but everybody's going to be shorthanded at some point this year. And you've got to find ways to win the game.
The Rams defense, that's their defense. Without Aaron Donald, wake up. Welcome to reality, Sean McVay. Without a Hall of Fame defensive tackle, the best we've seen since, Warren Sapp and I don't know who else. I mean, he's one of the best players in NFL history. He's not on your team anymore. Braden Fisk. Oh, Braden Fisk will solve your problems. Braden Fisk was a liability today. And he might end up being a good player. Second rounder at Florida State. I like Braden Fisk. He's not Aaron Donald. Jared Verse is a nice player. They're not replacing a Hall of Famer. And you got exposed today. For 2 consecutive weeks, you have not been able to stop the run against the Detroit Lions and the Arizona Cardinals. Donald was such a big part of their identity, and he's gone now. And it's always been a parachute of survival for McVay. What are you going to do now? You got to be perfect then offensively. If your defense is going to look like this, then you got to have, Stafford cooking with gas for 4 quarters. You can't take a half to ramp it up here. And now you got no Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Like, welcome to the NFL, LA Rams. Welcome back to the cellar of the NFL. Like, again, no Aaron Donald was so underscored by the national media this year. Bo, it was gross. It was gross negligence by the national media.
That's right. I like it. Pile on when you can.
Yes,
Because,
please,
look,
please.
He dominated for so long. He did. So it's good to get one. So, yeah, let's keep it going, Damon, Dawg.
Next super chat comes from Sebastian, €2, and says, when is the Matt Prater statue being built?
Bo, is it under construction right now as we speak? It should be about damn near finished at this point.
I think they're molding right now. I think they're getting the molding done, and then they'll move forward. They'll just find out where to put it.
Next super chat comes from PR Mac, $2, says, revenge is sweet, long tenure drought.
That's right.
Gone.
Now you start your own streak, Cardinals. No more of this garbage. Get them out of here. Goodbye. 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 I cannot wait, by the way. The Cardinals are going to destroy the Seahawks this year. I will put my 401k on it. And like there's gonna be like faux Seahawk, like they're great. They're ahead of the division. They're 2-0. That's the biggest fraud in the NFL right now. I wish the Cardinals played the Seahawks next week because it would look exactly like this. Continue on, Damon.
Ryan, $5 super chat, says bad/great day for JV. Cards win and pass rush is great. A lot of us were with you, though. I don't blame you. Who's your daddy, McVay? Let's ride the momentum.
I will kiss Dennis Gardeck on the mouth if he was here.
Please don't do that. No, Johnny, that's a no.
It's never a bad day for me when the Cardinals win. Kyler Murray, by the way, I just got a message from my guy Seth Cox. On pace. Everybody ready for Kyler Murray's season statistics right now? On pace for 3,700 yards passing, 34 touchdowns through the air, 1,000 rushing yards on the season. How about that? Bo, were you surprised Kyler Murray looked this good running the football?
It looked awesome. I mean, it is his way to extend plays and make things happen and keep his eyes downfield at the same time or tuck it and run. Like the one where Beach looked like he kind of got beat and Kyler Murray just made it into a huge, gigantic rush lane for himself. Probably his largest run of the game. Like he had it going, right? 266 and then 60 on the ground, 3 total touchdowns. I mean, Kyler Murray was in his bag all game long.
Damon's in his bag with these super chats.
Reezy Baby, $2. It's a great day. Now beat the Lions. #shock the world. The Valley Bros coming up next. 199 says K1 played like an MVP today.
He did. Dan Orlovsky, who did not have Kyler Murray, by the way, in his top 10 rushing quarterbacks this year, had to come outright and say Kyler Murray's playing like a top 5 player in the NFL. I don't know how he's not in MVP conversations. You got to beat Jared Goff next week, but I mean, you beat the Lions. We're going to talk about the Lions here in a second when these super chats are done. But
I'm not sure anybody's in MVP conversations right now because it's week. I don't think anyone's talking about it.
They are. They absolutely are. Kyler Murray absolutely is. Keep it going, Damon.
Orlovsky.
Go ahead, Bill.
It's like Orlovsky's like coming out and like, turns out the sky is blue, guys. My fault. I screwed that up. Burrow over Kyler Murray. Yeah. Whoops.
Whoopsies. You ever watch Kyler Murray play football before? You know Kyler Murray can move a little bit? Okay.
Next super chat from Chillis, but I kind of want it to be Chili's, which brings up another conversation that we had earlier in the week with our friend Michael Wilson. It says K1 and Gardeck offense and defensive players of the week.
We talked about Brittan. If it wasn't for Aiden Hutchinson, albeit in the loss, being a maniac, I think Dennis Gardeck would have a chance to defensive player of the week.
I agree. 3 sacks with a forced fumble and a tackle for loss. I mean, that's defensive player of the week for me.
I bet it is. Keep it going, Damon Dawg.
CBK saying that tip pick looking real good right now. Hey man, on that one MHJ to Marvin throw, the second touchdown, Tip made a pretty good block that, if he doesn't make that block, play might not happen that way, Johnny.
Tip, in all seriousness, played well today. And Tip, really, you can't assess Tip's performance until like advanced metrics come out because he doesn't catch the football. Bo Brock, Tip Ryman next week against Aiden Hutchinson will be a big deal. Like, we'll preview that all week. Like, can Tip Ryman help Kelvin Beachum survive Aiden Hutchinson next week? Is that fair?
It'll be cinema, good or bad. It'll be cinema. We'll see if Tip Ryman is him. But how about Higgy Bear, man? I mean, on that Kyler
Awesome.
Murray back of the end zone, it was beautiful. Great tight end room.
Very good.
Ike Lewis 199 says, "Let's go, Marv. Love to see my WTAMU bro on the pod."
Go Buffs, baby. West Texas A&M.
Let's do it. Keep it going.
Easton 199 says, "This game shows that K1 is easily a top 10 QB."
We were saying it all offseason, Easton. If Kyler Murray just plays up to his capabilities, they are going to be in the playoff discussion, and he will be a top 10 quarterback. The biggest issue with K1 has been, can he stay healthy? Didn't have to play a fourth quarter today. This offense, I think, plays to his strengths. He barely got hit. So hopefully Jonah Williams can come back after the next 3 games. But, I mean, that's the reason you pay Kyler Murray. You get this Kyler Murray, you go to the playoffs. You are viable. You have a chance to win the division. Like, that's the biggest art. Is he better than Mahomes and Josh Allen? I'm not having that conversation. Is he better than Lamar? But, like, in the NFC, where Brock Purdy got carried to the Super Bowl last year and Brock Purdy looked like garbage today, like, you're telling me that version of Kyler Murray can't help you contend in the NFC where Baker Mayfield's making the division round? That's my biggest argument, Bo Brock, for trying to get some pass rush help. You got this version of K1 who, and we talked about at the top of the show, has had a tremendous offseason, a tremendous training camp, looked unbelievable, behind the scenes during preseason. You should be doing all you can to help this guy, elevate this guy with the rest of your 53-man roster. Am I wrong?
You had to prove it first. You had a lot to kind of prove, him coming in first full off season, coming off a 4-win season. So look, yeah, you just control what you can control. I think that's what they're doing. And then with that, a good front office will reward you. So going forward, yeah, why not?
Next super chat. Well, by the way, our friend Chili's, he said it is Chili's.
Nice. We're going to talk about Chili's,
which is great. But Baharo3, friend of the program, says $2 super chat says, if K1 and Marv played preseason games, we'd be 2-0, and Kyler would be an MVP talk.
I think there's some truth to, like, unlocking the vertical passing game a game earlier, but no doubt. Let's keep them going.
Josh Espada 02 499 says, my Sugar Plum Prince is real. I love you, MHJ. K1 is so good at football. JV been hating on Gardeck all offseason, but my Barbarian is goated.
Let's see him do it against a good pass blocking offensive line. We're going to enjoy
this week right now. How about that? We're goated this week.
You are goated.
It's still Sunday, Johnny. Let us have this Sunday.
Get the clown makeup on. I'm a big time clown. That's fine. Hell, like, I want to be proven wrong by this pass rush because guess what? It means the team's going to win games. Where was he last week? We needed him last week.
Thomas Christensen, $20. Thank you, Thomas. And he says, been going to all home games for 15 years. MHJ's scores were electric. Cheers to a hopeful future.
Bo, was it like anything you haven't seen before in some time? Like, because watching it on TV, I made the reference to Space Jam. A lot of people had said that with the Michael Jordan over the goal line. That's what it looked like. It looked like time stood still when Marvin scored that touchdown.
Yeah, it was just, you couldn't believe it, right? Like, oh, well, here we go again, but in the best possible way. I mean, in 2022, that Thursday Night Football where they had the back-to-back pick sixes where Marco Wilson has the, leap into the end zone and then Isaiah Simmons picks it off with one hand. Like, those were pretty big, but, like, not from a guy who's, like, with as much fanfare as Marvin Harrison Jr. So to see that play out for the first time in his first quarter of action in front of the Red Sea, it was surreal.
Let's do some rapid fire, Damon Dawg.
Rapid fire, Illadre 199, best podcast hands down. Go Cards. Phoenix Eddie Money 1, $10 super chat. Thank you, Eddie. And he says, Johnny, keep banging the drums. Let's bring in a viable pass rusher. Bring some heat consistently on the opposing QBs.
Daddy needs it. Daddy Fantasy needs it here at PHNX Sports. Hassan Reddick, we will manifest it. He will be a Cardinal.
2 Slim Shady, 279 Canadian says, Bo's got to go so he can celebrate with the D-line.
How about that? Bo, go celebrate with the D-line. We'll celebrate with a little number 18 collection. But in all seriousness, no, we're fired up about the number 18 collection. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Again, Marvin, I don't think he did Brittan Golden his LeBron James celebratory touchdown dance, but at some point we got to see that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a more of a act like you've been there moment. Your first,
fair.
Get the first couple ones out of the way, right? Be humble about your score in the end zone. He's better than me because I would have acted the fool.
Yes,
but just no home training, I guess. Nah, but he went in there. He was humble. He did what he was supposed to do. I think you see it going forward. He gets a little bit more comfortable scoring the touchdowns once he gets a number like 7 or 8. And we're all just sitting here expecting a Marvin touchdown every week. I think you start to see a little bit more, enthusiasm, a little bit more swag to come out of it. Like, hey, he'll start figuring out. Listen, I am the man.
Yeah,
and you're gonna know.
He's not a crazy celebrator as is, though. Like
yes.
he's kind of like a jump into Paris's arms and like hug his teammates type of guy. It'll
come out. You got to have a little bit of swag to you.
Especially like when you walk into the end zone too. Like eventually he's going to catch one deep and he's going to walk into the end zone. Yeah. Yanks 199. Love that the O-line was holding up the wall. Bo, did the O-line look as dominant as they did on TV? I thought Paris Johnson Jr. was unbelievable today.
Back-to-back great performances by PJJ at the left tackle position. And then, like, early on, you talk about getting that run game going. I mean, it was just Will Hernandez and Yeldo Froholt just opening up. Huge. Like, you could drive a bus through those rush lanes, what they were doing on the right side. And they were doing it often and early, getting it going. And James Conner was obliging and running right through him. So, also, speaking of celebratory dances, like Dennis Gardeck was asked about his because he has such epic dances after a sack, but he said when the junkyard dog Marcus Golden was out there for the ceremonial coin flip, he had to do a little bit of a throwback to, I guess, some St. Louis dance moves for junkyard dog. So it was nice. That was the inspiration, was Marcus Golden. So you love to hear it.
How about this? Monty Ossenford's burner. I'm sorry, missed that one. How about Bees there? Let's go $2 super chat. The people need a statement from the hold the line. What is that? Commander. I'm sorry. My bad eyes here on the postgame show. Damon, do you have a statement for the hold the line?
I mean, all I have to say is we watched a religious experience today.
Yes.
This is what Sundays are all about.
Yep.
It's the Lord's Day. And when I go home, I pray to an altar of Marvin Harrison Jr. That was just a special first quarter. And the vibes here in the studio were unreal.
It was the best the studio vibes have been in, I would say, 2 years for me, because I have PTSD watching so much losing football here.
Johnny didn't sit down for the whole first half.
I didn't. And you know what? Like Damon, we joke about a religious experience, but like at the same time, I tweeted this out. We've been talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. having that kind of performance for 6 months. And for it to finally come to fruition today, like Cardinal fans deserve this today. This has been a long time of losing football. We've hyped up a player. He's hyped himself up through his actions, not his words, his actions at the collegiate level. The team has rallied around him. Like Cardinal fans who bought a ticket today to cheer on this franchise deserve this performance. However the rest of the season ends up, I think they should go out, make a move, be a playoff team, blah, blah, blah. They could be terrible for the rest of the year. Cardinal fans on this day deserve to watch number 18 undress the LA Rams and dominate, stomp a mud hole into Sean McVay's LA Rams. Let's keep it going, Damon Dawg.
AZ Fan 1998 199 says, I love this. K1 and MHJ showed up. And then Kenny Marshall with his, I believe we said this was Thai money.
Yeah.
100, whatever those are. And says, shout out to Dennis Gardeck. Johnny, you were giving him mad smoke throughout the week. And Budda is still a beast. D stepped up.
Yes, they did.
I'd like to see this defense with Budda and Hassan Reddick. Not a 1-for-1 player.
What do you mean? This defense had Budda and Hassan Reddick at one point.
That's true. That's a great point. All right, I want to go around the room. Final thoughts and predictions here heading into Detroit in week 3. But first, I want to thank everybody who came out to Chicken and Pickle today for the best damn PHNX Cardinals tailgate event. Capacity crowd at hand at Chicken and Pickle. Big thanks to everybody. Espo was out there. Gerald Bourget of PHNX Suns was out there. I know Bo's going to be out there next week. Just had, traffic was a lot. People are fired up about this team. It's a capacity crowd at Chicken and Pickle at State Farm Stadium. But again, if you haven't checked it out, chickenandpickle.com. We're having tailgates throughout this home season. We're going to try to get out to them as much as we can. It's tough because competing priorities with the show, but bunch of PHNX sports personalities that are going to be on display, hanging out just around the corner from the stadium. So if you can come out, if you had an opportunity to come out, check it out. We've got a link in the description in the chat. Check it out next week. Come out to Chicken and Pickle as the Cardinals level up. We level up expectations here, and we want to see people supporting this team, rocking their PHNX sports gear. Again, we're going to be out at as many events as we can. Of Of course, we've got our watch parties at Gila River on away games. We'll all be out at those. But big thanks to everybody who was at Chicken and Pickle today as we look ahead to week 3 now. The Arizona Cardinals, they're 500 for the first time since 2022. They have an NFC West victory for the first time since 2022. Is this the most viable they've been since 2021? I'll go around the room here. I'll start with you, Brittan Golden. Is this a team right now in your mind that's going to continue to contend for the postseason?
I mean, honestly, if we can get the same consistent work that we got today and the first half from week 1, if that's how you want to go to it, if you can get that offensively and the production you got defensively, I think this is a team that you really have to pay attention to in the NFC. Like, it's a team that can fight for a wild card spot. If you can get this consistent play offensively throughout the season and defensively, you're looking at a team that's going to get into the playoffs, that has an opportunity to win a playoff game. So, I mean, it's going to start next week. Right, you got a Lions team coming in here that's coming off a bad loss. Right, so I mean, they're going to be ready to play. Can you put this out there? Can you put a product on that field, especially defensively, that gets after Jared Goff, that creates havoc, and that gets the ball back to Kyler and company and allows them to get out there and put this same product out there? You've got a team that is a playoff caliber team.
Bo Brock, the Detroit Lions could easily be 0-2. They could easily be 2-0. What's your expectations for next week against Dan Campbell's squad?
Yeah, I think the Arizona Cardinals need to show more of what we saw today, right? Show that that's the new Arizona Cardinals. And, of course, like, you've got a more complete football team, one that's more up to par roster-wise than where the Rams were today. But can you put together another complete performance? Because I think if you do, you can play with anybody. And I think if you take from what you did here offensively from start to finish, the Lions are going to be in a position to where they're going to have to make some plays in their own right to win a football game. You got your second consecutive home game, 1 of 3 in a row. You can really put yourself in a good position with another solid performance in week 3 going into week 4 against the Washington Commanders. But up first, you got to do what you did today against the Rams, against the Lions. So I think offensively they've got the chance to do that. With a Lions team that's trying to figure it out, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, I think defensively it would be a lot to ask to have a repeat performance. But, Bo, like you mentioned, could you have something in between Buffalo and Los Angeles, right? Can you be viable? Can you keep the score in the low 20s against the Detroit team that it has its ups and downs offensively right now? And then offensively, you got to stop Aiden Hutchinson. But right now, the only individual, the only entity that has stopped this Cardinal offense is this Cardinal offense, with maybe some lackluster play calling in the second half against the Buffalo Bills. The Cardinals right now, when they opt to turn it on offensively, they can put up points against anybody. And Detroit's defense is very susceptible to the deep pass. We saw it today. Baker Mayfield went up and down the field. You can run on Detroit. Can you keep Kyler Murray upright against Aiden Hutchinson and company? That's going to be the factor. Turnovers, I mean, it's going to be a close game. I got tipped off right now with our friends at Bet365. The line has opened up. Detroit is favored by 3.5 points right now. So the Cardinals against the team that almost went to the Super Bowl last year, that a lot of people think should be the Super Bowl favorite in the NFC, it's just about a field goal game coming into State Farm Stadium. Can the Arizona Cardinals quiet out the noise, put down the hype, and the Detroit Lions, you take advantage of a team that's a little bit vulnerable right now? I'm not ready to say the Cardinals can beat the Detroit Lions, but I think it's you put yourself in a position that even if you don't, sky's not falling, because you got Washington the next week, which I think is a big-time joke. They couldn't score a touchdown today, albeit in a win against an even bigger joke in the New York Giants. So you got to trade blows here for about 8 weeks, and then you get the soft portion of your schedule. But the most important factor is the Cardinals have put themselves in a position to be very viable right now. Having a win against an NFC West foe, having a win against a contender in the NFC in Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford's LA Rams, and this authoritarian of a win, putting up 40 points for the first time in 2 years. I mean, you have set yourself up. You can breathe a little bit. You can look at the landscape of the season while also taking it week to week. So it's a great place to be for a Cardinal fan with real tangible hope that we haven't seen in some time. So, Damon, Dawg, let's get to some more of these super chats. We'll get out of here.
Yeah, we got 2 more to round us out. Pluris Stratus, I don't know exactly how to say that, said Kyler number 2 on ESPN stats.
How about it? QBR, I would expect him to be top 5 again with his performance today and a top passer rating on the day. And let's round it out here. $5. Appreciate the coverage, fellas, from Frankie. Frankie, love that name. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you. Drop a like on this video. Consistently had 1,500 plus watching total, almost 1,000 total watching here on YouTube. PHNX Sports, if you're new here, welcome. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. We got your premier game day content coverage on lock for the rest of the season. Plus, of course, every single day we got content, including 5 live shows a week. We're going to be back mañana previewing the Detroit Lions' continued fallout. JG, Marvin, K1, keep it locked in on PHNX_Cardinals for more information. Drop a like on this show. Trying to get to 750, as well as drop a comment. Should the Arizona Cardinals be in play for Hassan Reddick? Do you feel more confident that this team is ready to make moves en route to what could be a special season? Or is this a flash in the pan type of dub? Sound off in the comments. Big thanks to everybody here in the studio. Big thanks. Bo Brock, Craig Morgan, read his work right now. GoPHNX.com. It's got a phenomenal post-game article dropping in just a few short hours. That article is for free to read for everybody right now. Become a diehard. GoPHNX.com. Damon, Dawg, big ups behind the mic. We appreciate you, my guy. Brittan Golden, appreciate you, my friend. And it's been a banner day. I'm Johnny Venerable. Thanks to everybody. Pre-game, halftime, post-game. We will see you tomorrow for our Monday show. Take care, everybody.
We all silly like the mayor.